The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I'm one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul. And while Chris Brown was stuck in the air doing acrobatic spins like Pink, I've been trying to get this move lined up, and let me tell you, this shit is hard. I don't know. You know how like there are people who are always announcing, "Ooh, I'm moving. If you want my stuff, I'm moving. I'm moving." How? Like, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I really am not. I'm really like, I don't want anybody. I don't want any of our listeners writing in and be like, John, you're shaming people who have unstable living. Nope, that is not what I'm saying. I find that moving is so complicated for no fucking reason. And I'm just like, my God, like I guess that's my way of saying I am so grateful that the universe has allowed me to stay where I am for as long as I've been. And this idea of moving is fantastic because yes, we are moving somewhere a little bit bigger, but my God, am I over it. I'm just so over it. That's where I'm at today. Like I'm on the mic. Y'all last week y'all heard me going off about the process. We're actually going to do a whole episode in the coming weeks. We've got a few people. It was actually very cool because I don't always know what episodes people are listening to or what resonates with our listeners. And it was like as soon as the episode went up, I had like 5 people jump in my inbox and be like, "Oh my God, this process almost took me out. Either I've started or I stopped." And it was very interesting for people, oh, as a queer Black person, I never thought about that. And I never thought about this. Would you be willing to share more about your experience? So I actually jumped on the line with Joho and I said, "Hey girl, would you be open to doing a show about this?" And they said yes, especially since Joho actually bought a house. We actually, and I'll say this transparently, we actually pulled the plug on it. We'll talk more about it in the episode of why I pulled the plug on buying a house. But we did end up leasing a townhome, which I feel very, very happy about, actually. And I'll explain why we did it that way anyway. But all that to be said, welcome to the show. Joho, my baby, how you doing?
Girl, I'm just as tired as you are. Goddamn.
Yeah.
And I will say people who move every year, like there are those who have to, and like, and I hold space for
Right,
for those
right.
who
Same,
have to
same.
because of the constantly changing like
Right.
rent inflections and such.
Yeah.
But the people who do it just for fun are built different. Like
I
could not be me. And I've been that girl. Like I move every 2 years or so, not because I want to, because I have to. And that shit is really
Yeah.
exhausting. Like it really
Mhm.
is. And let me tell you, when growing up, my parents owned a moving company. Like I
Oh,
am
I
an
remember you
experienced
yeah.
mover, so I know
Yeah.
how to move, and I hate it. Like the last time I moved, I said I'm hiring movers. Like
Yeah.
I know enough to know that I need to hire movers. I'm not going to do
Yeah.
this. This is no longer for me. But it really is exhausting, and like some places have weird ass restrictions. Like when I moved into my condo, it was I had to tell them what day I was moving and what
Yeah.
time I was moving. And I was like, bitch, I own the place. Why do I need to tell you what time I'm moving my own house?
But
Like
it was
what?
what is it,
Like
the fucking what do they call
the
that?
HOA,
The
the HOA,
HOA.
yeah,
Yeah, them
the HOA.
HOAs.
They would be hoes, okay,
Exactly.
hoes,
HO is the
girl.
right.
I said it was doing
Yes.
the
Mhm.
most. I was like, what the fuck? So I really do feel you on that. It is not an easy process, and I hope that this is a place that you love, that you find a lot of joy, and that you can stay in for for a period of time because
Yeah.
moving is exhausting, and your place is bigger. So that means I know you're gonna get more stuff in there, which will make
Tell me
moving
what, bitch, girl,
even
we were
worse in the
all
future. Like,
last night we were up ordering new rugs. Like we were up ordering more
ooh,
rugs.
ooh.
We have already been in the mind of like, oh, because we need a bed for like when you come
Yeah.
over or when other friends come over and spend the
I was like,
night.
get
So
my
we're
guest room ready.
yeah,
Okay.
we need to get
Yes.
right. So we need a guest room. Like there's just so much that's going into and again, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful that I'm in a position to make this happen. But at the end of the day, I am very much like, can July 25th get here so we can do what we need to do and we can just be done. But all that to be
Yeah.
said,
Yeah. I
I
feel you.
truly understand how you feel. I know what you're going through, and I'm truly thankful to everybody who's been sending me good vibes about the move. So here we are.
Good. I am sending you the most good vibes.
Thank you, babe.
Besides that, fam, it is Jordan, aka Joho, and as I said before, I'm exhausted from everything in life currently.
Amen.
This Pride Month has went by so fast, like it always does. What it it went by so fast and was so unpaid, which I thought was,
Yeah,
a funny thing,
yeah.
because wow, they really stopped giving a fuck about queer and trans folks. They really said, here's a rainbow color good day. You have your rights barely, and be happy with this.
Take
We're
your
not gonna pay
rights
you
and
for
have a
anything.
good day, bitch. Yes.
Literally, I'm like, whoo,
They
whoo.
literally threw nothing at us. They said,
They
"Here,
said we're giving
they
you
paid us nothing this
nothing.
month. They paid us
The
dust."
okay, it
Oh,
truly in does, and I love that San Diego is Pride in July, but this year I dang it because I've had so much to do this month, and I have so much to do this next month, and I'm
right.
like, "Oh," like, usually I love the back-to-back months of, Pride, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, "Actually, can we cancel it forever?" Like, I just don't need it anymore right now. I'm like, I am really tired. No,
Can
I'm
we
kidding.
just
I love
not?
Pride so much, but I'm just like, I honestly, the straights are onto something sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah,
"You know what?
you know
No, I'm
what?
totally kidding. I really never want them to have never want them to have the joy. The straights can suck it." But I just
Mhm.
have but this month I am like, "Oh my god, Pride is gonna be exhausting." All that
Yeah.
to be said, though, y'all, we have a great guest this week, and we're so excited to have them. Our guest really needs no introduction. We're going to give them one. She is known for their revolutionary activist work in and out of drag and entertaining high energy performances.
Amen,
They're
amen.
also the first ever San Diego mixed gay and the first ever mixed international pride, both of which being gender neutral titles in the International Imperial Court system and the Imperial Court de San Diego. They are
Mhm.
really fantastic, bitch. Not only are they an award-winning activist in San Diego, California, being awarded for their work in 2018 from Tracy J. O'Brien for the San Diego LGBT Center's Trans Day Remembrance, they're
I
also a
know
college
that's
graduate with a
right.
bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies in three, not one, not two, but three departments: Africana Studies,
Wow.
Communications, Counseling, and Social Change. It sounds like four, but the last two are in the same one. Calm down, y'all. They also created and facilitated anti-blackness trainings for San Diego State University in collaboration with their Black Resource Center. They also ran that center for several years as well too, where they had to
Yeah.
work with Dr. John Paul. Please give it up for our amazing special guest with a mouthful of bio. God damn, Amber St. Motherfucking James. Hey, bitch,
Oh,
welcome.
what a
Hey,
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 pleasure.
hey,
hush
I'm
in
so
the house,
glad we were
in the
able to
house,
make
in
this
the house.
happen. Like, when I tell you
hey.
that Amber St. James, like, there are levels to this shit, and when I tell people there are things in this world that I will let, but as soon as I hear your name on someone's lips, like, okay, so what you that's my sister, and what are we talking about Amber
Mm.
for? Oh, okay, all right, I
Period.
just wanna make sure. I will ride at dawn. Let me tell you something. The way I will auto start my car for you, I ride for Amber St. James so hard. I love you so much, and I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. And I
Yeah.
live. You was like, girl, that's a mouthful. Girl, that was the short version of the bio.
Screaming.
Okay,
I was
gotta
like,
let them know. Gotta let them know. The resume gets real long sometimes. Oh my
It's
goodness. Well,
okay, as it should
I'm so glad to be
be.
here.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you are here. I know we had to move some things around, but we're really excited that you're here and we're so grateful that you've been able to make it work. And so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our first segment like we always do. We're giving Miss Tisha Campbell her flowers. And I will say it's really interesting before we jump into this week's still here. It's been interesting to be online and watch. There's this whole discourse I would say it's like almost every 3 years there's this whole discourse that comes back around still here and Tisha Campbell
Mm,
and why she wrote the
mm.
song and people laughing about it. And then there's people who are, and so I just want to make it very clear that when we talk about Miss Tisha Campbell still here, we're not making fun of her. We're basically saying, yes, like you, girl. We know you have been through things. We have been through things. We are still here. And so that is the reason why the title of this segment is called Still Here for those of you who are new to the BFF podcast. Yeah, we just want to make sure that y'all know that we are not laughing in Miss Tisha Campbell's face, that we too are still here. So
Okay.
anyway, with that being
Period.
said, this episode, Pride Month is pretty much over. Pride Month never really began, TBH. It was kind of just like Pride.
Girl, it just
Okay.
slid on through. Okay. Like, leave the money on the dresser kind of situation, girl. You
It
turn
was
up and you say,
giving
oh,
16
wait a minute.
carriages,
Wait a
underpaid and
minute. Where was the
overwhelmed.
lube? I
Like,
didn't realize we was already doing it.
Definitely giving 16 carriages, overpaid and
underpaid and
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Yeah, she
Yes,
was not on
bitch.
that one.
Yeah,
Whew.
underpaid and overwhelmed. That's basically what this Pride
Whew.
gave. But with that being said, with it being Pride Month and Black History Month, specifically 365, because we black and gay all the time, honey. I wanted to
Okay.
ask y'all, what's your favorite Pride anthem? I don't think we've ever asked that question on the show. And so I'm thinking to
Mm.
myself, when you hear a song and it immediately like your pride flag go up and you just start dancing, and I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that I'm gonna say, everyone probably thinks that I'm gonna say, was it Mighty Real by Sylvester and
Mm.
songs like that. What songs just make you immediately just go into your when you start
Mm.
feeling your oats, right? Um I will say, and then I'll pass this over to Amber, and then we'll pass it over to you. Joe got an actual list. I know that's
I got
right.
listen, I got
Um,
songs, baby, I got
songs,
songs.
yeah. So we'll pass it. We'll pass it down. But what I will say for me, it's actually "My House" by Diana Ross. I don't know why. I know
Mm.
that she has "I'm Coming Out," and that's the quintessential gay song. But "My House" is really gay too. Like if you really, this my house and I live here.
Live here.
Yeah, I just, oh yes, bitch, this is my house. Like, and I just literally, there's my chair that's over there. Okay, bitch. Yes, I see you,
You
Miss
let
Sandra,
us
with the
know.
chair. Like, it's just a gay ass song. So every time my house comes on, my little gay flag goes right up, and I just start moving side to side like Miss Diana, cause it's built with love. She said, "My house is built for love," and I said, "Bitch, I feel you." Yes, Diana,
Mm,
go
mm.
off. So yeah, but anyway, Amber, what are yours?
Ooh, see, that's a little harder for me because, like, as a drag performer, like, love music,
Ooh,
love her
yeah.
down, but also,
I was
like,
like, what song isn't a pride anthem for you
yeah,
then?
exactly. I'm like, what song am I
T.
not already hearing? What song am I not like walking into the club and be like, oh God, they still playing Lady Gaga? Kind of situation. No shade to her, love her. Yes, be who you want to be. Little monsters or whatever it is that she says or does or whatever that is. Um,
Yes, yeah.
Ah, screaming. It's so
um,
true.
I really don't know because like for me, like a lot of the songs that like make me feel like pride or just things that like make me feel like uplifted. So sometimes that might be gospel music, sometimes that may be rap.
That's
And like
fair.
Passions, it's been like Chance the Rapper. I
Mm.
do love that you shouted out Mighty Real because I do love me a good old Mighty Real. I like did
Yeah.
my
Mm.
first like Mighty Real like mix number when I was in New York, and baby, now it just only reminds me of New York, and it was such a transformative time for me that I'm
I
like,
love
ooh,
Ah.
that.
that is pride. Yes, baby, yes, I am Mighty
Yeah.
Real.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
I love. Oh,
I
I
love it.
love.
What about you, Joho?
Okay, so obviously I love this question because I have a list of songs, and
Mhm.
I'm so sorry to take everyone's time doing this, but as I said before, San Diego's Pride is in July, so we're keeping the party going over here,
Yes.
baby. And so a few songs that get me really hyped for Pride. One is I Feel Love by Donna Summer. I
Yes.
know she never set out to be a gay icon. I know she resisted it in many ways, because she had her moments of homophobia, but Donna
Yeah.
Summer really is to me a queer icon when it comes to disco. Like that shit was just so good, and like I mean, like just the beat. The beat to me is it's like it's just like it's like such like a sexy beat. Like dun 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 dun. It's just so good. It's so sexy. The little beats that go in your heart. It makes me feel like an enchantress. If it
Ooh.
plays when I walk into a club, girl, oh, I'm feeling myself. I'm out here
Mhm.
burning on my body, walking through,
Yes.
giving people the eye, like, "You trying to go, baby? I feel." I can't even do it. I can't even sing. But when she goes a little octaves up, ooh,
Yes,
ooh,
yes, yes, yes.
that
And I
part is
wanna
just so
honorary
good.
mention, so I don't go off for Sam Smith like that, but what I will say is
The
that
cover
that
by I Feel Love.
cover
Oh,
by Sam
mhm.
Smith, she ate that. Like,
No, that cover was cute.
yeah, her
Okay,
cover, she
when
ate that.
Sam Smith does
Mhm.
covers or does some like disco pop music, I'm really here for it. Like that one, like that song that Sam Smith did for the Barbie movie eats it every day to me. That shit
Mhm.
is so good. My second song is "I Know a Place" by Muna. This is it's a bit of like a late 2000s or late 2010 song.
Mhm.
But it's just like it's not like a pop banger or like a club song, but you hear it in like a lot of like queer shows. It's a really beautiful song, and fun, and it talks basically talks about like if if you think you aren't loved or you aren't cared for, then like I know a place
Right.
in which you can go and
Mm.
be yourself. And it's just a really good song. I first heard it on when they did the reboot of Tales of the City, which is like a super queer show, and I just like fell in love with that song ever since then. My third song is "Please" by Jessie Ware, because Jessie Ware really is a queer icon as well too, and she wants to be a queer icon, so I love that for her. But her last two albums are disco inspired, and Please to me is like definitely a song that I feel like you would absolutely hear in like an 80s ball. Like it's just so much fun. It's so good. The music video, she has some ball performers doing it. And I was like, girl, this is a really cute song. It's just really a fun one. And the last one, as people probably know, is gonna be Beyonce, but Pure Honey, I feel like the second it
Yes.
comes on, girl, you will have me whacking everywhere I go. Like it's just there is no way I can't be like like it is just it is like such an inherently queer song. I mean, the entire album, obviously, like if I hear Alien Superstar, I'm gonna be like, oh, bitch, you out my way. But like Pure Honey, girl, I feel like the sexiest, tiniest thing in the world, and it's just like I can't not hear that song and not think of like pride for me, especially because
Mhm.
like the song is just. I mean, you have everything queer. So that is a song that will get me hyped wherever I go. If they don't play it, if they don't play it in clubs or at Pride, I actually get mad. Like I'm like, you didn't give me one Renaissance song. I really see was at Soho House,
Yeah.
and they play a lot of Beyonce, and I love that for them. But I asked the DJ, I said, "Can you give me Renaissance?" And he gave me everything besides Renaissance. I was like, "No, no, I've asked you. I've
Right.
asked you for like it's Pride
The
Month.
gays.
Why would you? The only the gays are at Soho. Why would you even be here? Like the
Right.
Soho is not it's not for the straights. It's for the gays and the girls.
Yes,
We
yes.
want Renaissance." And I
Yes.
just could not give it. And I was like, "Why do you
Yeah.
hate me so much, sir?" So
Yeah.
I was mad. I mean, I wasn't leaving because it was Soho, but I was mad about it. And I was
Right,
like, "Never
right.
again, never again."
Yeah.
I
I was
love that place.
somewhere and someone mixed Pure Honey with another song, and it actually I forget what song it was mixed with, but I remember listening, and I remember actually I don't know who I was with. I actually think I was with someone who was not queer, and we both looked at each other and we were like, "That's a bomb ass mix." So,
Ooh.
like, yeah, like, yeah, I very much am in the mind that Pure Honey, no matter when I hear it, is definitely. I mean, obviously, it's house down boots. You gon' cat 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 cat
Okay.
anytime you hear it,
Ah!
but the reality of the song is it's just a really Beyonce did it. Like she
I love how
knew
Stony go
she
cat
got
cat
it's
cat
like
cat
the
cat.
GLAAD award was fused into that song, right?
She
She
said a
got a
lot of war, bitch.
it was, yeah. It's like you can hear the GLAAD award in that song, and I love that. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. Well, with that being said, we have to take a quick break for me to clean up all the tomatoes y'all threw at my home for my response to the question from last week's. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, I recommend that you go. And this will make sense. But when we get back, we're gonna talk cash shit with our favorite queen. More in a second.
Okay, fam, we are back, and for today's main segi, we want to dive back into the drag bag, but more specifically for our queen today. What's it like being a queen who centers activism and liberation work in their art? First, can you tell us about, and also can you tell us about why it's so important to center blackness and feminist in your drag?
Amen.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. So for me, why it's important is because like it's always been this space of safety for me, right? So when like I first started drag and even in how I started drag, it was because every time that I was experiencing drag or like having these inklings or I'd see like clips from like Drag Race and things like that, I was like, oh wait, these people are like having fun and like being unapologetic and like no one's like, come to beat their ass and nothing like that, right? And so I was like, oh,
Mhm.
this
Mm,
might be a space where like I can find safety, where I can like be able to explore who I am and stuff like that. And so then as
Mhm.
drag began to like actually pop up in my life, so like when I was in college and like I had seen like my first drag show and everything like that, I was like, oh my God, like people, y'all just out here like living and like that's okay, like that's like y'all allowed to do that, like anybody gonna come get y'all? I the next day like went to like my not local, oh my God. I went to my campus's resource center, found one of the performers, and I was like, oh my God, you were on the stage yesterday. You were absolutely immaculate. Here we are now. She is now my drag mother. And really in me being
mm,
able to like dive into drag, it was a space where I always felt like I was allowed to explore without having to apologize
mm,
for my exploration, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
so, in finding out who I was and finding more power in my own feminist and my own blackness, I was taking like ethnic studies courses and being surrounded by a lot more like queer people. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I want to put more of this into my drag. Like, no
Yes.
shade, love doing Beyonce, you know, but at the time, like, all I knew from drag was like, okay, you just go out there and like you do the typical number. Like, you go, you turn the party, maybe do a jump split here or there, or a regular split, you know. I didn't know all the tricks just yet. And like you call it a day, right? But like as I started to find more empowerment in who I was and like my culture and where I come from, I was like, I want to share this with other people because I find so much joy in this. I find so much pride in this, and I want to share that with other people, right? And so it's really always been that like my art has been for me because it's been like my outlet. And through doing that, other people were like, oh, wait, this is actually really empowering and encouraging because like I see myself in you. Very much we see each other kind of vibe.
Right, right.
Um, so for me, like I've always wanted to make sure that I keep that and that I center that because it is so important of I recognize how it saved my life so I can understand how it can save another.
Amen. Oh, that's actually really powerful. And it's funny because you can always tell, I guess for me in terms of drag, you can always tell the people who are really just doing it because it's a career. And
Yep.
then you can always tell the people who are doing it for change. And I think that for me is what makes me so honored is really the only word that I have. It makes me so honored to like not only know you personally, but also to know you in the sense of being able to see you perform. I mean, if you have not seen Amber perform, my God, what are you doing with your life? Get in your car, put some tunes on, go to the gas station, get to San Diego and see Amber perform. It is literally life changing. Like, and I don't say that because you are a friend of mine. Like even before I knew you, I remember I think we met at UCR's Blackout,
Blackout
and I
conference.
remember seeing you perform and I was just like, "Who is this?" Like I was just so blown away at the way you perform and just everything about it. And so again, if you have not seen Amber perform, you are very much doing yourself a disservice. So, with that, I wanted to ask, I think it's one thing that I've always loved and respect about you outside of, again, in terms of your performances. I feel like your performances you always hit the stage with something to say. Even if you are doing a fun number, there's still a message there. And I think it is easy just to do drag for fun. And like I said, to do it as a career. But I think the way you do it, it really speaks to what drag initially started as. And I think
Oh,
that's one of the things that
absolutely.
kind of bugs me sometimes with drag is that I feel like the girls who just do it, they think, oh, okay, well, so and so's in drag and it's fun and drag race is popular. So I'm just going to go ahead and do drag. And it's like, girl, no, you have to know the history. But I have always wondered, especially knowing that it helps to liberate and to help people feel seen and heard. I guess the one thing I've always wondered and I've always wanted to ask you is what challenges come with navigating the intersections of drag and knowing the history of drag, right? And being someone who centers blackness at the core of the art.
I mean, I think for me, what's been the most challenging and it's kind of always been the most challenging is like I understand that drag right now is this like consumer thing, right? And because of
Yeah.
like drag race and because of the ways in which like it has been commodified, like it makes it very hard to kind it makes it very hard of acknowledging that like sometimes I'm going to go into a space and people are going to have an expectation of like, oh, I'm going to be getting to see like my own version of drag race, right? And then they get me and they go, now what the fuck? Girl, I
Yeah.
didn't ask to
Yeah.
come here and be like activated and encouraged and all the rest of this like activist bullshit. Like, just go do your little Britney number, please. Do your little Beyonce, and can we call it a day? Like, I'm not trying to come here and leave and go, I want to go vote. Like,
Right, right.
right? So acknowledging that like people are gonna have that shift in them during my performance, but I also know that like baby, I perform and buck the house down, so that's never really gonna be a problem
Okay.
because even when I didn't like know how to like do the makeups or do this that and the other, I knew that like my performance was killer.
Was gonna
So
carry.
however,
Amen.
exactly. So I was
Yes.
like, however I'm gonna do this, they're gonna be engaged and they're gonna be entertained. So it's gonna
Period.
be easier for me to like just slip on through with the education, to slip on through about the activism and the social statements and stuff that I want to make. Because I recognize in a lot of spaces that I exist in, they're predominantly white. Right, I'm performing in white clubs. I'm surrounded by white people all the time, and so
Yeah.
I recognize that may be the small instance where that is kind of the only time where they are being able to take in what the experiences of black queer folks are. So I'm like, okay, if
Yeah.
you sitting there and you're already entertained, you're like, oh my god, yeah, she's turning at the house down boot, she did a backflip into a front split into this, that, and the other, whatever, whatever. If you can be entertained by that while also simultaneously in taking the messaging of like, here is what it is to be black and queer in this world, here's what it is to be trans,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
in a a police state, right? Here's what it is to be living like on the edge of your seat because of police brutality and police violence, right? Like for them to be able to for that to be able to seep into their minds while they're also being entertained, so that way later on when they reflect on the number they go, now wait a minute, now wait a
Yeah.
minute here, bitch,
Yeah.
you done taught me something. I wasn't expecting to have all that happen, right?
Uh-huh.
That's
Uh-huh.
always been hard because I acknowledge that like sometimes people ain't gonna like that, right? But also fuck them. Like I do it not necessarily for them. I do it for the
Yes.
black folks in that room.
Yes.
And so a lot of times when I'm scared, I'm like, ooh, girl, I don't know
There's a
that
lot
these
of
white
whites
people
out
gonna be
there.
okay with that.
Yes,
Okay.
a lot of
But
whites
I'm
out
like,
there.
okay,
Yeah.
I know there's a black queer person somewhere, or there's a black person somewhere, or there's a person that's, experiencing marginalization out there that's gonna feel seen, that's gonna feel
Yeah.
empowered. And that's why I do it, right? Because I've been that person, that single person in that room full of white people going, well, where the hell is the representation for me, girl? Like I want to feel like I'm supposed to be here, right? And so instead
Yeah.
of trying to cater to the dominant, right, to the majority, I'm like, no, baby, I'm gonna come in this space and I'm gonna turn it out for that single person in that room that I know gonna leave and go, girl, that's my girl. That's what she put our culture right there on the map. She did it unapologetically, right? Knowing that
Yes.
the white people in the
Amen.
audience gonna be entertained just because I showed up in the full drags and did a fucking cartwheel, split off the stage, off a 6 foot tall stage kind of situation, right? So, that's a bit of the challenge. And when I like first started, I didn't like start immediately, going 100. I like slowly married in more of like the activism, right? It would start slowly of like, okay, I'm gonna put in a little bit of gospel, knowing that I'm performing for white audiences and they have their own histories with like religion and spirituality, right? But recognizing, okay, if you can be in community with me while we sitting up here and we praising, right? Then now you're doing some healing work, right? So now you're ready
Right.
for a little bit more, right? Now you're ready for me to have that monologue in there that talks about
Mm.
police violence, that talks about the many lives that
Right.
have been stolen from us, right?
Right.
So trying to push the envelope more and more, and I feel like as doing that, I've also been able to really open the doors for other black queens to feel like they don't have to change themselves or diminish their blackness in these white centered spaces. They can come and be as blackety black as they want to be, and that
Uh-huh.
audience is going to take it and be entertained either way.
They ain't got no
Mm.
choice. It's like
Period.
honestly, and it's like, and it also too that you could teach them that there are more songs than Mary Mary's Praise, or
Yeah.
Shackles or whatever, right? Like
I was
there are
going to say,
other
take the
songs
shackles
out
off, baby. Take
there.
the shackles off. It's okay.
Right. Like you could go
I'm
ahead and play another
screaming.
gospel song. But I definitely like I said, for one, appreciate that you what I will say, and then I know we have to move on. I love that even like knowing who you are as an educator, it's like I can hear the educator in you even as a drag performer. So it makes me so happy. I'm so proud of you. But go off.
It's so true because like, you never leave an experience with Amber not learning something. I
Right.
mean, I'll just say, for Black Pride, we're putting Amber to work. We're putting Amber to work for Black Pride. But I am I mean, it was a no brainer for us to want Amber in the first place. And
Right.
thank you, Amber, for saying yes to all the things that we've asked you to do as well. Thank you for saying yes. You are the
Of
best.
course.
But truly, it's like we know that I there are several reasons why in which I like really love the Amber. Um, One, there are seldom any bearded queens out there at all.
Right.
And I remember the first time I did drag with my beard on, it was like so transformative for myself because I'd only done drag with shaving, and I was like, I don't want to shave the beard that I love so much that makes me feel like who I am. But I also like worry about like then what that mean for drag for people, and I realized how like to me like how like countercultural it is, and also like how beautiful you can still look with a beard. And so when I just want to say like the fact that you are a bearded queen, as you call yourself the bearded African queen of San Diego,
Happy birthday,
like
Queen Diego.
it really like to John's point about right what drag is about. It's about being counterculture. It's about being against the grain. It's about like really like showing up as your full self and being different and creating space. And like no one else, there truly is nobody that I see doing what you do like you do in San
Right.
Diego, and
Right.
honestly in many places around the world. Period. Like you're an international sensation. But truly like you are just so amazing, and I think your point, like you give performance, like you will give us a 2 minute monologue, and you will fucking act. Bitches don't know this bitch can act. Okay, this bitch can
Mhm.
fucking recite a line and
And
act,
will.
baby. Okay,
And
like
will.
and will like you like there are people who lip sync, and there are people who perform, and then there are people who like embody what the fuck they're doing, and like,
Yes.
like you would believe that Amber is the person who actually wrote that song, who actually wrote that piece of spoken word, that piece of gospel. You would believe that Amber's one that wrote all that, because that really is what they give you every fucking time. And so I just really have to say, you are so incredible and so amazing. I'm so thankful that I get to witness you like in the spaces I do, because you really are like the fiercest person. And I like, I know that people commodify you sometimes, and people are like, oh, like Amber's just so great, she performs so well, and like I know everyone loves you, but to your point about being in the crowd of white folks and then being like, oh, I love her because she gives performance, and then she did a backflip. Just know that there are people who will sit there and be like, no, y'all really don't pick up what y'all don't have not picked up what she put down here. Y'all have not picked up
Layers.
the like y'all have not realized the nuance she is giving us right now, and like what they are doing. So know that you really are seen by many folks in this community for that, and not just for like the gimmick of drag. And the question
Yes.
for you is, given that we are both San Diego girlies,
Hmm.
I'm curious to ask you your thoughts on SC's drag scene and black scene. How do you think the scene here is positively different than other cities? And what are things you feel like we can improve around these parts?
Oh,
Oh
that's a
wow.
really good question.
So I would say how I feel about the drags. So I will say I think when I first started in drag, in like 2014, before I like really got like out into the scene, which is really just to say like until I started performing in Hillcrest in like 2018 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I had seen, there was not very many black girls, much less to no shade. Excuse me, much less black girls that were like blackity black black black, right? Like it always felt like there was this like negotiation that they had to make of like if you want to get booked,
Yeah.
then you got to perform these kind of things, right? Because producers were not going to be booking you because you was you was a little rough around the edges for their audiences, which really just meant you was gonna scare the white people, right? So exactly. And so as I was producing a lot of shows at San Diego State University, and I've been doing that for like what the last 8 or 9 years or so, right? I wanted to be able to connect our performers with our locals, and so I would start to book them there. So they would then be introduced to me and be like, "Oh, girl, you turn the party. You need to come out. You need to come out the lab, girl, and be out in the scene, be running around because we need you, right?" So then when I started to do drag like in Hillcrest, and doing it as black and black, black, black as I was, I remember kind of all the black girls like swarming to me and being like, "Oh, who is she? I want to know more about her," right? Because it
Mhm.
kind of felt like it was the first time that they were being able to see like what is this pathway that we ourselves can be able to marry in more of what we actually want to
Mm.
do and not having to shift ourselves for, that paycheck, which I understand, like, girl, you gotta pay them bills. You gotta keep that roof over your head. So sometimes you gotta make them sacrifices, right? But trying to figure
Right.
out ways where like you didn't always have to be on like that sacrificial front, right? Ways where we can be able
Mm.
to honor ourselves and honor our own histories and our lives, right? And so with me being as black as I am, as socially aware and stuff as I am within my performances and within like the community, I then started to get booked more often, right? And people are like, "Oh, I want you to come out and do this. I want you
Mm.
to come out and do that." As you talked about that commodification, but for me, because I'd already done like that journey within student affairs, I was like, oh baby, I know how this game works. I know how to give some and take some so that way I can make some space, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
acknowledge like if you go book me to do this, I'm gonna do the kind of number that you're looking for, but I'm also do that other kind of number that you didn't know that you was looking for, because then you're gonna understand that you
Mm.
need more black queens, right? You're gonna understand the importance of
Mm.
what drag can be, and that it's so much more than just like, oh, she did that pretty little thing that they do on Drag Race where they like lip sync against each other at the end. It's so fun. It's so fierce, mama
Yeah.
girl, right? And now I'm at a place where really I see that the black drag scene has grown so much, and I will say, and it always feels weird to like brag, but I think that's just, imposter syndrome as people of color. We never want to give ourselves our flowers, but to give
Girl, you
myself
bet.
my flowers and to do it unapologetically, I think I
Yeah.
have been so, so, so influential in bringing out more black drag performers and
Yep.
Absolutely.
girls that like want to get started in drag seeing me and going, oh my god, I can be like her, right? Or oh my god, like I want to get out there because Amber did it, and like if Amber can do it, then bitch, I can definitely do it, right? And even
Hmm.
like some of the older girls that have been doing drag like 20 plus years were like, girl, you inspire me. Like you showed me there is a different way to be able to do drag. Like for instance, a local that lives here, Miss Coco Chanel, I love her to death. Icon, legend, statement, star. She is everything. I remember when she came to me and told me, it was like, girl, like seeing you do that number, and it was like one of, my very like BGM numbers that will have the monologue and the this and the that. I remember her afterwards coming in being like, girl, baby, you inspired me. Like,
Yeah.
you inspired me, and I've been doing drag for a very long time, and I've not seen girls do it like this. And then I remember like the year after that, she had done a number that followed like the Amber St. James formula, and I was like, oh my god, like that is major to have someone who is a pillar in the community and who has so much experience in drag, like where you go, baby, people come to you and ask you like, how do I do this, right? For her to come to me and use what I had taught, I was like, oh my god, like this is truly the impact that drag can have, right? And so I feel like my drag has been able to slowly shift and open the eyes and minds and hearts of people to recognize that like drag can be so much more than the 3 minute Britney number. Like it can be something that can change the hearts, that can change the minds and create these moments of social action.
Right. Oh my gosh. You said so much, and I think it's also necessary. I think in all spaces, and not even just in drag, I think it is so imperative that we continue to uplift one another. And I think that's what I heard you say. It was like she gave you something. She, after for years of you giving her something, and vice versa, right? She gives you something. It's this cyclical thing of you two uplifting each other, and I think that is what's so beautiful about, especially when there's so much mess both inside and outside of the queer community, right? I think it's beautiful when you can look at someone and say, just as much as you gave me is as much as I'm going to give you back, and we're going to uplift each other as we continue to fight against injustice and all the other all the isms that live around us. And so just what you shared was just so beautiful to me. And I'm just grateful. Like I said, I'm so grateful that you exist in a space where I know Black people truly need you. If that makes sense. So with that being said, one of the kind of the last things that we wanted to ask you in this segment, right? We've talked a lot about what it's like for you to be a Black drag queen, and I think one of the things that oftentimes I've seen so many queens talk about in so many different ways, right? I've seen Peppermint talk about it. I've seen a lot of the Black dolls talk about. I forget what queen it was. It may have been who's the one that's always hanging out with Bob? I can see her face, but I
Monet?
can't see her name. Yeah, I think it was Monet. It was either Monet or it was another girl who was talking about being at a drag event and seeing the tables being lined, especially with the white queens, seeing their tables lined
Oh,
with
for the
so
meet and
many
greets, yeah.
different yeah, and then knowing that their table didn't look like those tables, and really, questioning themselves of like, well, then why am I even doing this if people don't love me the way that they love them, right? I know other Black queens, and I actually could even say on the air, me and Mayhem have had this conversation day in and day out about the different ways that Mayhem, especially being on the show 2 to 3 times, has had to navigate being a Black queen in the franchise of RuPaul's Drag Race. And so, all that to be said, one of the things I wanted to ask you, right, is really just thinking about, for any of the dolls who are listening, right? We know that there are struggles being a Black drag queen. Knowing that there are girls out there who really want to do it but don't really know or understand how everything works, what advice would you give to the dolls that might be listening saying, I want to do this, but I feel this way, or I feel like I'm going through things? Advice specifically for the Black dolls who are just starting drag and feeling discouraged. Like, what would you tell them, or what advice would you give them?
I mean, I would definitely. I mean, the first thing that popped into my head is like reach out to your elders, right? So if you have like dolls that already are in your scene, like don't feel afraid to reach out to them, like to the other Black dolls, and be like, hey, so I kind of wanna start drag, but I'm feeling a little scared, and I don't really know what to do with this, or like how to move forward, because I will tell you a lot of them have been through it, and so they a lot of them have been through it, shifting, speaking from the eye. And I know that if someone were to do that, to reach out to me and say, which actually I've had multiple baby Black queens reach out to me, like when they first started, and be like, hey, like I want to do this, or I want to do that, and I'm not sure what to do or how to, whatever, right? I remember what it felt like when I first started and not really having that, right? And so in wanting to give back and wanting to create a future that is better than the one that I came from, or yes, wanting to create a future that was better than the history that I came from, right? I would feel so empowered to want to uplift them, to want to give them all of that advice, right? And so I would tell them, like, don't feel afraid to reach out. Like, they are sitting there waiting to be able to share the
Mm,
knowledge that they have gained throughout their years of doing drag, right? I would also tell them that it's also okay to reach out to girls that are not in your city, girl. It's okay. Like, we are a community. Don't just feel like you only have the people that are in your backyard or that are in your area. Like, if you have a Black queen that you love online and you like, I really want to reach out to her, do it. Like, it
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
hurts to really expand your community and span the horizons in which you can be able to find that refilling, because baby, we are
Right.
expansive, right? So we exist outside of just in our little red zoned little areas, right? Like, we exist outside of that, right? So be able to feel like you can feel encouraged to reach out. Also acknowledging that, like, it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's the
So
journey.
mm.
please
Mhm.
do not approach drag with this instant gratification of like, oh, I'm gonna pay and then immediately I'm gonna get booked and it's gonna be this and girl, it's gonna be a
Mhm.
journey. So be ready for the journey. Be ready and be open for whatever that journey may be, but have fun
Yeah.
along the way.
Mhm.
Have fun. And I love that you say that because I think oftentimes I've seen, like I said, I've seen people make it a job and you can like I can always feel when someone's just doing it because they have to, and and I think that's when the magic is lost. That's when I
Mhm.
can feel the magic around drag being lost. So I'm so happy that you said that.
I also feel like, Amber, I feel like as you were speaking, we talked about elders, it made me think about, I think when I see you, I can see you each time, like getting closer and closer to like to that status yourself, and like not like I want to be clear, like not old because you ain't old at all, and
Well, we
ain't
all
nothing,
old. That's
ain't
okay.
nothing wrong being old, like no ageism
Right.
here,
We
ain't nothing
all
wrong being
old.
old, but period, but like you have cement you are cementing yourself as a pillar in the community as well too. Like the pillars that you have looked up
Mhm.
to, like
Mhm.
you are joining them every time that you are performing. You're getting closer and closer to be in that space. I mean, to me, I think you're already there, but I really do see that. Like I really do see that you are becoming ingrained into like San Diego history of blackness and feminist and queerness, and transness, and and really ingrained into like the San Diego queer history that is happening here. So I really just I mean I love that you give yourself your flowers, and I hope you continue to do so. But I really want to make sure I give you your
Amen.
flowers
Amen.
as well too, because like you from I believe I saw your first perform at SCSU. And then I believe I saw you also in you were in the first Blacker Magic, weren't you? The one.
Well, I created
So
the first San Diego Black Girl Magic here.
yes. And so, like seeing you from then to now is like it is like been such a beautiful like journey. I can't even say arc because arc implies like up and down. Like you had just gone up and only up, and you were only
I
going
know
up.
that's right.
You were
Yes.
up, and
Mhm.
so like I know that there is so much more in store for you, and it is beautiful, so beautiful to see you be weaved into the story of San Diego and the story of Hillcrest and the story of blackness
Mm.
and like, the story of Black San Diego. Like you are just constantly being weaved in more and more, and it's such a privilege to watch. And I really hope that you know that. I hope that you know how how integral and how vital and how like how valuable you are, and how you will never be replaced or never be removed in my
Yeah.
eyes, and I think in the eyes of many others.
If I may, before we go to the next segment, I will say too, I think it's really cool because when I first started going to San Diego, I only knew Hillcrest as Hillcrest as it looks, right? I
Yes,
only knew
yes.
it as white, basically. I only knew it as white, a few Asians here and there, but it was mainly white. But I think by knowing both of you, I'm grateful because now I know that there's a black queerness in San Diego that I can tap into, and that makes me more amped to want to come because I mean I've told you this before and I've talked about this on the show. The first time I ever got called the N-word to my face was at San Diego Pride. And so
Mm,
that's all I ever knew, right? Is oh, that is not a space that is for me. And so I will say that knowing that both of you are San Diego queens, it's nice to know that I immediately have a through line to black queer San Diego, and it has really taken away that stain for me, because there was a part for a very long time where I said I will never be in that city doing anything. And so now, knowing that both of you exist there, it's like I know I can link with the both of y'all and we can do things and have us a Black queer time, and I can feel safe in the midst of doing that. So I just wanted to put that out there too, that that's the legacy that both of you have left, is that you're creating possibilities, right, in a space that where, like I said, for me, I'm not a San Diego native. Obviously, I'm an IE queen, and so going to San Diego, I never really knew what I was doing, or I never knew where I was going, and it's just really cool now to know that I have like a direct line to Black San Diego queerness that I can tap into with both of you. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you.
It's a blessing.
Okay, y'all. Before John gets us both in tears and Amber makes me want to put on my cha-cha heels, we have to take a quick break and pay some more bills. We'll be back in just a sec.
All right, y'all. So if you are new here, one of the things I have always said is that all roads in this show always lead us back to Drag Race. Since day one, I have always said all roads lead back to Drag Race. And so with that being said, I thought it would be smart that if we're going to talk about anything Drag Race, we would have a segment where we would let the listeners know that we have we're coining a new segment called Road to Drag Race. Yes. And so this week, with our new segment Road to Drag Race, I thought it would be, obviously we have one of the leading queens with us, right? Why wouldn't we have a conversation about Drag Race? There's no way that we could kind of overlook it. And so with that being said, we know that All Stars is on the air. I will just say this real quick, and then I know we have to go. I'm just not wowed. Like, none of this. Outside of Angeria giving it and turning it again, and because obviously I'm gonna always root for the Black girls. This season is very, it's meh.
Very
Like
meh.
that's really all it's really giving me. A meh. It's really meh. So anyway, all that to be said. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying none of the girls are giving it to me in other seasons. Like the season that had Jinx Monsoon, she ate and deserved every single thing that season. But this season, none of them really. And Jerry, she's gonna give you a look, but it's nothing like nothing to write home about. I'm just bored. But anyway, all that to be said, I say that with love. I wanted to ask the question, and I do want to say real quick before I get into the question I'm going to ask, I will also say, and maybe this is just me, I feel like this season it keeps giving subtle hints of racism with them constantly trying to block Angeria. I don't know if I'm right for feeling that way, but there are moments where I'm like, this feels racist, even if it's not.
This don't feel good in my Black soul. There's a racism somewhere.
It feels very pointed. It feels very pointed and sharp with them skizzers. I'm always just like,
is the bus still running?
Are the producers just like, choose Angeria?
Yeah. It just feels there are moments where I don't even know her name because I don't really care for her. Roxy, that's her name. It feels real pointed where her anti-Blackness is showing, and
when they call her out for being like, Roxy, there's no fucking way that you saw the lineup and then had your back to us and
girl, they got her down. They got her down booed. She was like, "No, I didn't know. I didn't know at all." They said, "Girl, no idea. Don't have us out here expose you and how production works, because you thought we were standing on that stage."
Literally.
Yeah, got her together.
As tall as you are in them shoes, do not act like you didn't see a damn thing. Come on,
baby, you are too. And again, this is not fat shaming. This is the truth. As big as you are, girl, in them big ass shoes, you knew what the fuck you was doing. Like, there's no you got to know, girl. You got to know. You take up a lot of space, and that's okay. I'm just saying, don't play games here. You're being dumb, sis. I don't know. I've never seen it for Roxy anyway. But all that to be said, I wanted to ask the question: who are your overrated and underrated queens? And really just in general, like, of just the idea of like you again, or the queen where you're like, God, I wish I saw more of them. And so I wanted to start by saying my overrated queen, that anytime I see her or I hear her name, I'm just like, oh my God, here we go again. Valentina. She's overrated to me. She gives us nothing. Her performances are not even like, at least George's is fun. You know what I mean? When it comes to like the Latinx, like I don't know, just I feel like what Valentina has, Georgia should have. Because George's is actually kind. George's is actually
Mm,
fun. George's like I get so like angry when I'm like, all of that joy is going to Valentina and she doesn't deserve it. So I don't know. That's me.
mm,
Overrated Queen Valentina. Underrated
mm.
Queen Lala Ree. I think her personality, I think she's fun. I love everything
Yeah.
about her. Obviously, she's black. I'm gonna always go up for a black queen. But yeah, I feel like Lala Ree should be the queen that we should see more of. What about you, Amber? Who are your overrated and underrated queens?
Ooh, there are way too many fucking queens to pick from because this show don't ever fucking end, and now we got
Oh my
franchises in
god.
different continents and different states and different fucking universes.
Yeah.
It's so true.
And they
uh,
sing too. They sing now
It's
girl,
so
too.
true. Yeah, and they say,
now don't say.
well,
Um,
well, let's say they all have a mic. They don't always sing, okay? Like
there is
they don't.
always some sound coming out of them, and there's
Oh,
Yes,
microphones. Get
yes,
that out.
okay. They always
right,
Um,
say
right.
something, but it's not always music. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh, I. So I don't know that I have like a direct answer, but here's what I will say. I think for me, the overrated queen is really overrated queens. And for me, it is
mm,
the skinny fashion white twink. I'm sick
Okay.
and tired of seeing it. I love that the girls, they really do the fashions and everything, but I feel like we don't ever get nothing else from them, right? Uh,
yeah,
and it just gives very much like, girl, you have thin privilege. You're thin, you're pretty, and you're white. And so you throw on a piece of
Yeah.
fabric, and we calling it high couture fashion. Now, I say that as a girly who has in her past thrown on a piece of fabric and a corset, but I've done it very, very strategically, and there's always a cultural reference. So don't come for me. Um,
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
okay,
said, "When
but
I do it, it's a statement, okay? But when you
Yes,
yeah,
do
when
it,
you
when
do
you
it.
do it,
it's a
Yes.
it's
gimmick."
lazy.
It's a
Um,
gimmick. I live.
period. And for me, I think like underrated queens. I mean, I feel like every black queen is always like
Yes.
we never give them their due justice. Like honestly, and I people joke like, oh my god, drag race this, drag race this. Like, girl, I would honestly love to see like a drag race Africa. Like I would love to see like what are the girls doing in Ghana, what are the
Mm,
girls doing in
Amen.
Uganda, like what are the girls doing?
mm,
Not to mention that
But you
also
know
changes the
RuPaul is
narrative. Well, I'm just saying, it also changes
mm.
the narrative of people feel like, oh, you're not allowed to be like black and queer in these
Yes.
countries, like in
right.
on the
Mm,
continent. Like, girl, yes, you can. So I feel like people don't really see it for the black girls, and the girls that they do see it for, like they got to be above and beyond. Like they got to be the Bobs, they got to be the Monets, right? They got to be the girls that like are winning, that are doing the
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
we didn't even give like Jada Essence Hall her flowers. Like
Nope.
baby,
okay.
she icon legend. Like she does the damn thing and did it before she even got onto Drag Race. Then won Drag
Right.
Race in the middle
Right.
of a fucking pandemic, and y'all still don't see it for her. Like, come
Right.
on
Mhm,
now. The
mhm,
Right.
racism is
mhm.
is is the, is the popping off, so we need to get that under control. But for me, like I feel like across the board, like black girls in the franchise are the most underrated. And I feel like that's just because like so much of the audience is white people and they want to see themselves represented and they just don't see it because they're like, oh, well, you black, so I just don't resonate. Like I'm just not gonna get your storyline. Girl, you
Mm-hmm.
you didn't even want to get their storyline. You didn't even
Correct.
open up the book to be able to
Correct.
read it to figure out.
Yep. Amen. Amen. Ugh, so many great points. What about you, Joe?
Oh, so okay. So first, my thoughts. Oh my God, I just oof. I like Amber so much of it. So we said, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So my first thoughts on the season. I think, John. I also feel like it's a little bit meh. Like the stakes this season are just so different. So it makes an entirely different show. And part of me was like, oh no, I'm kind of into a show where it's not about eliminations, and so I'm not like stressed in this way. But I feel like the drama that they're doing is just too much for competition with lower stakes. Like
Right. Right.
to your point about the subtle racism at Nigeria, y'all. It's not worth it. Like it's just not worth it. Like the stakes are too low for you to be this racist. Like it makes no sense to me. Like yeah, it is just some money for some nonprofits that already have millions of dollars. Like I'm so
Right.
sorry, but
Right.
you will do
Speak on it.
what you are giving will do nothing for them. Like. And that's the thing as well. Like I personally wish some queens would have chosen some different nonprofits. Like as someone who works in nonprofit, there is so many organizations you could have chose from. And you chose the ones that were like so public and so big that like your 10K a week really means nothing to them. It means nothing to them.
Correct.
And like
Hmm.
like and let's be clear, is it donated in your name or is it just donated by like by RuPaul? Because like it just because it's giving. Ooh, It's giving tax shelter. It's giving. It's giving. Let me offload some money. Okay, let me. That's what it's
Right.
giving. I probably will
That's
never be on Congress as a
so you
judge.
know what
But it's
I
giving
thought
that.
that.
Like I was like, it's giving. Let me just let me just give
Mhm.
away my money so that way people don't come from my taxes. Like
It's
that's
giving
what it's
tax
giving.
write-off.
I feel so sad
Mhm.
because RuPaul will never have me on the show, and I really want to be a judge on the show so badly,
We're
but I
never gonna
know
get one of them boxes he sends
and then so it's
everybody.
okay. Or maybe they will just to embarrass us, and that is fine too. But I really feel like this season
Mhm.
is just not giving what it needs to give. But I will say the guests are giving. The guests have been. I was like, oh, she had budget. Like I never envisioned
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer to be on the show, not because I know she would be, but because I'm like, would they ever have her on the show? And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer was here. Who was second guest? They had Anita, who I love Anita. They had
Yes, they did.
that one famous old ass white lady. Not old, one famous white lady
You
who was
said old ass white
an elder.
lady.
Chris, please beep that. Please beep that. Let me just say that they
Yes.
had that famous elderly white lady who has done a lot of great work.
Mhm.
In her field, they had some great guests this season, so they have budget. But yeah, the show is just like I feel like I maintain this today. The last great season to me was season 6. That was the last season where I was
Yeah.
like, this is like this is like the height and peak of what drama gives in this show, and this is what winning looks like in a show. Like that's just my opinion. I think there have been some seasons after that have been great. Like I really love Simone's season. I
Right.
really I actually really love Jay's season. Like I thought it was a great season. People slept on it because it was a pandemic watch, but I really thought it was a great season. And I think the queens
It
were
was
still
a
robbed.
good season.
I think we're
It
robbed of
was.
their finale experiences, and that's something I still am mad about. So I'll just say that season
Mhm.
6 was the season where I was like, this is like when someone says, oh, should watch Drag Race, I'm like, start with this season. This is the best season in my opinion. Now,
Mhm.
overrated
Mhm.
queen. I know folks are gonna hate me for this, but Alaska. I just do not see it. People love Alaska, and I just do
I
not
don't
see
see
it.
it
I,
either.
well, I think okay, like I wish I could. I wish I had rose-colored glasses, but I don't. Some of y'all got bifocals because there's no way that that's the queen that I'm like, that's the queen for me. Okay. Underrated queen, I think Raja O'Hara. Give me a queen who can sew a dress in 90 seconds.
Oh,
People,
period. Like a
people do
Mhm.
real
not
dress, not just
no.
a slip dress.
Okay, like people slept on that All Star season and didn't realize that that bitch gave you a real dress in 90 seconds. She from fabric to stitch to hand to on her body. 90 seconds. 5 minutes someone that does that. Like underrated entirely. Mo Hart. Love Mo Hart. Also underrated.
Yes.
Like they are one of my girls. Yes, like people love them for brown cloud stunning, but they don't give Mo Hart their flowers the way they should.
Mhm.
I think Latrice Royale is immensely underrated still.
Oh my god.
People love her, but
Talk
like people
about
will
it.
never give her the respect that she fucking deserves for being who she is on the show and for being the girl who plays the fucking game to the T. Like y'all do not understand either. Or something, so like Amber, what you said, like all black queens. I think Jane Dior Fierce. People
Yeah.
people are like,
Oh
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 my
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 god,
god,
she's
they
such a
hurt
that
sweetheart.
us.
season, I guess season
Yeah.
6 was my fucking season, but no one gives her that she put her puss in everything. And I was like, y'all, Ginger
Yeah.
Pierce really is that girl. And a plus size queen at that one, like y'all do not know. There are so many. Listen, even Silky Nutmeg Ganache, like that girl. Find me a big queen who was lip sync assassin for that whole lip sync Lollapalooza, which I was to say
8.
I hate.
8.
I hate lip sync Lollapaloozas. I do not need constant lip syncing. But if I'm gonna watch it, give me Silky Nutmeg Ganache, please. Like so many
Yes.
underrated queens. Y'all speaking all the black queens because they're black, and it is not cute because these white queens cannot give half of what the black queens have given. Like they
Amen.
cannot be given
Could not.
at all. And like there are
Mhm.
many other queens of color as well too who are just fantastic. I will say that. I will also say, last season I thought Georges was overrated. I did not understand why RuPaul loved her so much. I was like, why? RuPaul loves Georges because she is only 5 years old. Like I do not understand why when Willow Pill made that joke of RuPaul loves you so much and she'll probably sacrifice you. I thought that was the funniest shit ever because I was so real because I did not get it. In this season, I understand now. I get it more because she's a kind queen.
Yeah.
She was funny during the
Mhm.
comedy show, and she does give performance. And so I was like, you know what? I see it.
Mhm.
I don't think she's overrated or underrated. I just think she's rated, and that's fine. And I think
Yeah,
Georges,
yeah.
like I think she's doing what needs to be done in this season. Of all the folks, I really enjoy seeing her and Jiria the most. I really enjoy seeing
Yes,
them.
they make this season.
I actually feel joy when I see them on screen. I'm like, you know what, this is great.
Yeah,
And I
Gottmik
stand
too.
on
Gottmik doesn't bug me either. Gottmik is
Gottmik.
somebody I'd invite over for dinner.
Okay, yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
live.
I do love Gottmik, and I think in terms of like white twins who get fashion, they
Yeah,
do get fashion. I live.
But
I
they
will
do it with
say,
intention. Cause like
yeah,
that trans look,
always,
stunning.
always. Yes,
yeah.
Stunning.
stunning.
Like, and I will give them the flowers for being the first trans queen on the first openly trans queen on the show to come on.
Right.
First openly queen
I was like,
to come on.
Peppermint would like a word. Peppermint would like a word.
Come on, no, that trust me, my bad, my bad. The first openly trans queen to come on the show as a trans person, and like yeah, like I really really and well, I will say like and also come on as a trans because they're the first trans mass person to be in the show as well.
Right,
So first,
right,
like I'll
right.
give them the flowers for that entirely, and I think they really carry that with them. But yeah, like I think like I enjoy seeing them on the show, and that's really it for me.
Okay. And that's fair. I think it's okay to be able to say, you know what, they give crumbs, and that's okay. We will eat it. We will eat it,
Like
and
some
that's
people give,
okay.
We will eat it. People give crumbs and we will eat it.
Yeah.
those 3 give biscuits for me, and I love, and the
Yes,
other girls just
and
give
that's all
yeah,
right. Now,
just
shit, bitch.
stone
Now I
crumbs, and
want a biscuit sandwich from Burger King. Look what. See, I
biscuits
can't. I
biscuits
hate it here so
listen, biscuits
much.
sound bomb with some gravy right now.
Right,
Ooh,
right,
girl.
girl. I'm
Oh,
so
not that time
Oh,
of waking
hungry.
girl.
up before 9 a.m. Girl,
Look,
I
Yes,
love you for this.
yeah.
Don't do this. Don't do this to me.
heat, okay? Woo.
Not me getting no DoorDash after this. DoorDash sponsor the show. All right. With that being
Girl, get a
said,
DoorDash during.
Oh,
right.
period, okay?
Yes, bitch. We go DoorDash during the show. Sponsor us, girl. All right.
Amber,
With
what you
that
want, girl? What you want? I got you. I got you. What you want?
Period.
All right, so we gonna take one more break, but when we get back, we gonna hit y'all with y'all favorite segment, Yes Ma'am and No Ma'am Pam. Back in a sec. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and just jump right into our Yes Ma'ams and our No Ma'am Pams this week. For me, I genuinely want to say my Yes Ma'am this week is for all of the folks who are in California doing the work around AB 1955. I don't know if you've listened to episodes in the past, you've heard me mention it. I'm going to keep mentioning it because it is and it sucks that I have to keep saying it. You know, I hate that protection for us always has to come in the form of like some sort of law or some sort of like, you know, we got to get to the Senate to tell them to leave us alone, right? And so it's just that's basically what AB 1955 is. It is a law that is moving throughout the Senate right now, and it has gained a lot of momentum. A lot of people support it. If and when it gets to where it needs to go, and it gets signed, basically what it would do is it would ultimately, if it passed, it would ensure queer youth not only not be outed, but also there would be ramifications for teachers and for parents or for anyone that works at a school
Mm,
district or a school site that basically calls or contacts a parent, right, to say, hey, your child is queer. So and I want to make it very clear that there are still, because I've had some folks ask me some questions about this. To be clear, there are still school districts that are like, we don't care about this law. We're still going to do it. Like Chino has very much been the very
mm,
first school district in California to say we don't care about AB 1955. We're still going to do what we want to do over here, but there will be ramifications and sightings for that in the sense of they will be basically they'll get a ticket. Basically, there
mm,
could be legal ramifications for Chino Hills. Actually, it's not Chino Hills. I think it's just Chino School District itself. There'll be ramifications for Chino if they were to kind of do that. So I'm hoping that by the time that you hear this, it will have passed, and then the only thing we'll have to wait is for a signature. Like I said, it sucks that we're here, that we're constantly having to come up with new ways to protect queer and trans babies, but I'm just very grateful. You know, I wanted to shout out my folks and my friends over at the ACLU, my friends over at Equality California, who are really like the lawyers over there are doing the work to protect trans, specifically, I say queer youth, but trans youth. They are doing the work to protect our babies. And I always like to refer to trans babies as my babies because I always will say I hold a very special place in my heart for trans kids, specifically Black trans kids. And so I'm just grateful to know that there are folks doing the work. Now, for my no man Pam, I want to say shout out to Bob Higgins. For those of you who may not know, Bob Higgins was my late grandfather on my dad's side. I don't know if I have any cousins or family members who listen to the show. I may have had some of them plug in, but oh well, they just gonna hear it. Bob was an asshole. Bob was evil. Bob hated everything. He hated everyone. Um, I just remember stories of being like like when kids would walk on his grass, he would go outside with like a BB gun and he
Oh
would
my
just
god.
sit on the porch with his BB gun to make sure
Right.
that if anybody walked on his grass, but his grass, I will tell you, my grandpa Bob's grass was immaculate. Like it was so green and it was so like it was always the right like length. So yeah, Grandpa Bob was evil. But all that to be said, I am becoming like Grandpa Bob in the sense of I don't want to hear anything from your phone when I'm out and about. I don't want to hear your music. I don't want to hear your conversation. I don't want to hear like there are too many like we have wireless headphones. We have wired headphones.
It's too easy these days to not do.
You can go to Five Below and get you the cute little cat earphones. Like, why am I hearing your conversation? And then wait a second, and then I'll shut up. Then we'll be on a plane, and niggas want to have a whole show going on a plane. Mama, don't
No.
nobody in 6C want to hear you back at 20A. Like, girl.
No, though, truly, because now the planes have Bluetooth on the TVs.
Yes.
So, like, there's no reason, girl, that you has to have this shit playing out loud. We got you. We give you headphones. You can do Bluetooth on the thing, girl.
And
It's too
Delta will
easy this
give
time.
you headphones. My God, I don't want to hear that. I know I sound old. I know I sound just crotchety. I don't care. I do not want to hear what is on your phone. And the niggas who walk around with Bluetooth speakers, why?
Yeah, that I don't understand. I really don't. I love that you love that music. I didn't need to know it and I didn't need to hear it. I was listening
I
to my
don't
own.
care. I don't want to listen to Lil Yachty. I don't want to hear it. Put it away. I literally want to go into my K through 12 bag. Mr. Simmons, what are you doing? Put it away. That is literally where I want to go every time.
It is not music time.
This is not
It's
the
not
time.
music time. You said we're not music class, baby girl. I'm so sorry. Turn it off. Thank you very much.
It is. No one cares. No one wants to hear that. So that's basically my rant for this week's. That's my no man Pam. What about you, Amber? What are your yes ma'ams and your no man Pams?
So my yes ma'ams is probably this week I went and did a drag performance at Donovan Correctional Facility, which is the second year that that's ever happened. So yet again making history, and I will be back this Friday as well. So just being able to like really, as I love to do, expand drag and where it can exist at. In many ways that we're encouraging and empowering our communities, especially in spaces where like we kind of the spaces where we lock them up and we really don't think about them, right? So like being able to bring them pride and recognizing like, they deserve pride as well. My no man Pam, I love pride. I love it so much. But also, girl, it is working me to death. The amount of times from people that I actually know and from just like random like followers and fans that will send me that little meme of like, here's the drag queen in the middle of June. And it's like, I have to party tomorrow, and then I have to slay on Thursday. No rest for me. I'm like, yes, girl, this is my actual life. Thank you. So like, yes, love the bookings, but also, girl, I would love some rest. I don't think I've gotten rest since last month. And I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I need a deep nap. I need a very, very deep nap.
I tell people, vacation me, please. And I had to cancel my vacation to move. So I'm baby, when I tell you, I'm not even trying to tire the situation. I'm just trying to let you know, like, Your feelings are valid. I
Mm.
feel you deep. Uh,
But
yeah.
it's gonna be good right after Pride. I'm going out to Chicago. So that's gonna be fun. I
Mm.
cannot wait to experience Chicago drag and maybe some of the Chicago men. But yes, moving right
I know
along.
that's
Fine,
right.
fine. Chicago drag, amazing. Everything about love Chicago. So
You
it's
did
so
eat down in Chicago. Mama did live in
so did.
Chicago.
Oof, oof,
Yes, yes. What about you,
oof.
Joho?
So my wait. Oh, yes. Your no, my ham was Pride. That makes sense. That makes sense. My yes, ma'am. My yes, ma'am is just gonna be. It's self-serving again, but I think I did it last week. But I'm gonna shout out Black Pride again because I want y'all to come. If y'all are here or around, come. You don't have to be black to come. Everyone's welcome, but we send black people, black
Mhm,
and trans
mhm,
folks.
mhm.
So don't get it twisted. We are out here July 5th through 7th. Amber, again, we are working Amber to the bone. I'm so sorry, Amber. We are adding to
That's
your state of
okay. I like
non-res.
an invoice.
But but it is gonna be an
I
amazing
hate it
time, y'all.
here.
We have a kickoff mixer, we have a kiki ball, we have a freaknik party, we have a fam bam
Hey.
cookout, we have a day party, we have a decadent day party. We have so much. We have a mixing and go pageant as well. Like we have so much happening. So y'all really need to come through. Weekend passes are available. You can get tickets you can get tickets on Eventbrite, but weekend passes get all the events. Some events include free food and drinks, unlimited alcohol, okay, baby girl, or
Okay.
non-alcohol as well too if that's your life. But like we have so many things to do. So if y'all are here July 5th through 7th in San Diego, please come through the Black Pride. Check us out online to find our stuff. My No Man Pam. I think I just had where I got my No Man Pam. Oh, it was it was Dude, I just the moment I'm like I should have wrote this bitch down because I definitely had it in my head. It was just to power companies to power companies. Let me reset that real quick. My no man Pam is the power companies because we're in a heat wave right now, and electricity is expensive, and that AC is running all day, all night
Amen.
long. And I am triggered because growing up, my mom would slap me for having the AC running for this long. We have it on auto set, and I love that for us. But I know for a fact that light bill going to be expensive. And all I
It
can think about
is.
is power company. Why do you hate us? Like, why do you hate us? It's a heat wave. What else can we do? Lower the
Right.
price. You don't need our money that badly. You have
Capitalism.
$1 million. You are good. I it makes me so sad because I'm like power companies are going to destroy us this heat season. I honestly now not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but now I'm like, did y'all cause global warming just so you can raise our prices? Because there's no
Probably.
reason why electricity
Probably.
costs
You're
this much.
you're on
Okay,
to
it's
something.
it's not it's not it's not unbelievable. Okay, like it
Nope.
really is. Like I see it's
Mhm.
happening because y'all are increasing your rates, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
increase the rates? When I have to increase the rate of which my AC is on, because if I don't,
Uh-huh.
I'll die of heat stroke, and that is not cute. Like, and if I
Mhm.
if I die in my house, I will have my ghost sue you. Like, you just help me help you, please,
Not the
because I do
ghost of not
the
the
ghost
ghost of Edison Past.
will come and sue. Okay, she's coming for a vengeance, and she's gonna get all the money.
I don't care. I'm naming the episode that Ghost of
The
Edison
medicine
Past.
does.
Oh my
Period.
goodness. Yes.
Because if I
I'm
die, I'm
just
gonna have my
saying.
ghost
So
coming
no
to you,
man
girl. So
Pam.
you ain't getting out of it.
Listen,
Yes.
so no man Pam to SC Genie, all the Genies around the
Screaming.
world, because y'all are
Mm-mm.
just giving us nothing and taking
Ghost of Edison
everything.
Past. I'm screaming. My God, this episode has been so fun. I am so just
Yeah.
everything I am living. With that being said, please send us your thoughts, feedback, and email to blackfatfempod@gmail.com. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our post on Instagram and Twitter. And the YouTubes too, honey. I know some of y'all go down to the YouTubes and leave the comments, but you tap on them keys for us. Go ahead and leave us a couple of comments to say that you love us. And you can also add us on all social media by using the handle Black Fat Femme Pod. Amber Doll, where can the people find you?
Oh, baby. Well, if I'm not working the corner, I'm working in the building.
Amen.
But they
Amen.
they can find me on the Instagrams at Mix St. James with two S's. Or just search up Amber St. James and you'll see a black bearded bitch, and I can guarantee you it's gonna be me. I've worked very hard to make sure I'm the first one that pops up. Or you can Google me. I am Googleable. Thank you.
Yes.
And find all of where you can find me. But on most other social medias, it's just Amber St. James on everything. I like to have it nice and clear, consistent branding. So if you also want to Cash App me or Venmo me or anything like that, that's also just Amber St. James. Thank you very much. Pay Black people for their time and their energies. Period.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so yeah, that's where the people can find me. And outside of that, girl, I just be bopping around, so you never know where I might pop up. Like I said, I did a gig at a prison. Okay, so I will be anywhere and everywhere trying to empower my people. So just be on the lookout because I do have some very big major projects and things coming up. So I'm very very excited. But I
Amen.
cannot say anything about them yet. But just know she about to be everywhere.
I respect
Okay.
that so
Oh, no,
much.
that's
I
right.
love it. I love it. What about you, Queen Joho? Where can the dogs find you?
As Amber said, consistency is key. So you can find me at Joho Daniels across all socials as well because I too have a clear brand that y'all can find and follow. If not, then my website at jorandaniels.com. And if not, there you will find me at any given moment under a fan. If you are in the store, you will find me under the AC. If I'm in a club, you'll find me under the AC. If I am in,
Mhm.
girl, I don't know, wherever I'm going to
Oh,
be, if there's a fan or AC there, bitch, you will see me under it.
amen.
Literally, I just say, Amber, I went to Flex last weekend and there is a corner by the front entrance that is right below the air conditioning.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
way my ass immediately found it and sat there the entire time, I said, I will dance right here, yo. You will not have me move anywhere else in this hot
Yes.
ass bar. I stayed there and danced for 2 hours. People were like, are you okay, girl? Like, you have not moved once. No, I'm staying by the air. You will not have me in these streets getting hot and overheating. This is not for me.
Eh,
So you will find me anywhere,
amen.
y'all. Where
Period.
there is air, I will be there.
I
Okay.
love
Happy
that.
Black
Where there
History
is
Year. I
air,
will not be
I
moved.
will be there. Put that on a shirt. I was gonna say, thinking about the moment. So it was funny because there is this it's a reel. I think it's a reel that's going around, and there's this woman asking what was the clubs like in the early 2000s. She was like, "Oh, I'm basically Gen Z. I'm getting ready, or I'm an alpha, Gen Alpha. I don't know what clubs were like in the early 2000s." And so I had reposted. I said, if you were a SoCal queen like me, either you were at Tiger Heat Arena, you were at
Mm,
Rage, you were at all of the clubs. And one of the things for me was finding, like, yes, clubbing was fun up until probably about 12 a.m. And then when you realize that you're hungry and that you're like low key dehydrated, there was
yes.
always that part of the night where you were like dancing around the club trying to find the AC vent
Yes.
because you were so fucking hot and you were so like and you really didn't have money for like a $5 water bottle, so you were always just trying to figure out how you was going to cool down. But that was the history of just the history of the club was partly that. So yes, I feel you about being under that air vent because my God, when it's hot, it's hot. But anyway, I say all of that to say you can visit my website. In terms of finding me, you can visit my website at www.drjohnpaul.com, or you can find me online on all the ats at Dr. John Paul. If anybody else is calling themselves Dr. John Paul, they are a liar. I am the only DJP. Okay, I just want to make sure I put that out there. I am the only DJP that should be out there. Otherwise, you can find me online asking, do you think Jesus cooked the fish or served it up raw? Like sushi.
Oh.
What kind of bread was it? Was it white or wheat?
Oh.
No one talks about that.
Well, yes,
It
and
was
to
Okay.
challah.
all,
It
because
was
he can do it
challah.
all.
Challah.
As a Jewish person, I think it was challah because there was no white or wheat. It was just challah.
Okay.
Jesus was a fellow Jew, so I think he was like, "I'm gonna get this challah and call that a good day." Do I
Okay.
think he cooked the fish? No, I do think he served up raw sushi. I think what's the saying? You taught someone how to fish, but did you cook the fish? It's a real question.
Yeah, did you
And
cook it?
I don't think he was out here doing trout like
Mm.
that. I think he just
Was
said,
it given
"That's the fish."
survivor? Was it salmon? Do we know
Oh,
what kind of fish it was? Was it whiting?
oh. Was it some mystical fish? Was it a biblical
Was it
one?
red snapper? Is it a fish that no longer exists?
Oh, was it a
Gee,
ooh.
Jesus, I got questions, girl.
Was it
Come
a
come
dodo of
over here,
fishes?
sit
We
down.
Jesus,
have questions
come
being
on,
answered,
Natal, we got some
Jesus.
questions. I just want to ask you just a couple questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Was it a fish fry? Is that where the
Oh,
fish fry
a
began?
salmon bake,
Because
if you
Jesus
will.
was black. I
Oh, don't
wonder
hurt
if
yourself.
Listen.
in the Bible the fish fry started with Jesus.
Was he serving
Maybe.
filet of fishes? Was he serving filet of
Uh-huh.
fishes in the house?
Yeah,
Yard chick.
Girl.
girl. I
Season.
know that oil was crisp. He probably used
Oh,
olive
Mm.
oil to fry it. You think he
He
used
shouted,
olive oil?
he
"Use the
lives
olive
extra
oil,
virgin
no
olive
doubt."
oil, girl.
Yeah, okay, the extrovert. Okay, yeah, okay. Come on now, yes, the extroversion. Evu, baby.
Extra virgin olive
Yes,
oil. My
girl.
God, this has been a time. All right, y'all. Well, this is we're at the end of the show where we have to let our guests go, and I am so sad that this is that we've gotten here. But with that being said, thank you for being along on the ride with us. We want to thank our producers, Bay Wang, for handling our logistics, and everyone over at iHeartMedia that keeps this show up and running. And it's moving, honey. The train, chugga, 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 chugga. It's moving. The train is moving. We would also like to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, we would have no show or visuals. In the same way, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter has not given us anything from Renaissance. Every week, I say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Giselle, give us the visuals. We deserve them. We are in a recession, a depression. The only way we can survive is by having visuals from Renaissance. And it's not fair. Beyonce, give us the visuals. This has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember, cuss them out today so you can sleep better tonight. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.